gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for May 17th, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, we have news and rumors about some of the gaming's biggest releases. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host, the Game Mess Mornings.
He said some of the gamings. He said some of the gamings.
Some of the biggest releases in gaming is what I was about to say, and then I just changed to reading what I actually wrote halfway through, and then the game scent went off. So it's all going really well over here, Tam.
The game scent went off. Amazing. that is peak.
That's the life I've chosen, apparently. Tam, how are you doing?
I'm all right, man. You know, I made the mistake of opening Twitter as soon as I got up, and let me tell you, it's bad, man. It's bad on there today.
They really just took that website into a lab and engineered it to be so much worse than it ever was.
It is impressive.
It's impressive. Yeah.
You know what the thing is about it though? It is now transparently clear when people are being shitty.
Yeah, totally.
For the sake of being shitty.
Because they monetize it.
It used to be like where someone was shitty, you would be like, is this person really like this?
Yep.
This is awful. Now it's just like, everyone is doing this. Yep. And it's just like, oh, come on. We know why you're doing this.
You're right. It's gotten easier to just be like, okay, I really don't even have to engage. I just can laugh or delete, block, ignore. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it is.
Anyway, I quickly closed it and I went to TikTok to watch the guy that restores Game Boys.
Oh, that's the good stuff. Okay, yeah.
This guy's back. Yeah,
that's good stuff.
Although he did this thing where he experimented with the view of how he's shooting it, and he has one of those screwdrivers that is motorized, and he set it so the camera spins with it, and he was like, I'm trying this new viewpoint, and then you open the comments, it's like, never do this again. This sucks.
I fell out of my bed.
Yeah.
Man, I have an unput together Game Boy FPGA kit that I finally got the buttons for, and I'm going to do that this week. And I'm going to sit down and put together. It's a Game Boy Color. Basically, it's a Game Boy Color in every way except for the actual internals. But then that's just the FPGA, which is acting exactly like a Game Boy Color. And I'm very excited. Although I haven't put it together yet, and I was watching a video about someone putting an OLED screen into this or into a Game Boy Color. I'm like, man, should I just go get an OLED screen instead, and so I don't have to take it apart when I decide to change that later?
Yeah, buddy. So I'm probably gonna get. I gotta stop getting these because I've got the what's that called? The Miu Mini.
Yep, Miu Mini. Yep.
I've got one of those. I've got a Ambernick, and I've got the thing that everyone wants. I forgot what it's called now. It looks like a Game Boy.
There's Ambernick. There's Miu. There's I don't know. Oh, you mean the Analog Pocket?
Analog Pocket.
Oh yeah, sure.
I got me an Analog Pocket. That thing is nice.
For real. I should just be using that.
Yeah, but I've former GameSpot managing editor currently at PlayStation, Peter Brown. He makes this stuff for fun, and he's so good at it. So I might just hit him up and be like, "Yo, can you hook me up with one?" And he'll customize it because he knows what I'd like, and he made a custom one for a bunch of our friends, and he's like, "There you go, happy birthday." Although did you see that Retro Arch is now out on iPhone and iOS devices?
I did see that. Yes, that's pretty cool. I'm glad people on Apple stuff can get that.
Yeah, I've been using Delta.
It's a similar front end. Yeah,
it is very, very good. I was playing. What was I playing? I was playing Pokemon Fire Red on it, and it's so easy.
Yeah, Pokemon is an ideal game for that scenario right there. Yeah, that looks great.
I got Pokemon and all the Castlevania games on the GB devices, and then Advance Wars and the Final Fantasy.
Yes. Okay.
So it's just
perfect games.
RPG games that you can play very easily. And Chrono Trigger, obviously.
Yes.
These are all games I own.
Can I tell you what's happening literally right this moment on my computer while you are talking about these things? I just bought another one.
Yeah.
I am hitting, literally, I'm going to hit pay now because someone put the link to the Anbernic Game Boy Advance SP one. And there it goes. I am hitting
What's
pay.
It called?
Let's see. It's one of those model numbers. But it's, if you scroll down, DJ Team Money put it in chat. It is the Anbernic RG35XX SP because it looks like a Game Boy Advance SP. That's what I've been kind of waiting for. I in my heart, like, I know my hands are like kind of too big at this point to really, and I'm too old is the real thing, to really use the SP in a way that's super comfortable. I don't care. The SP to me was just such peak gaming. It's everything I was hoping for when they first announced the Game Boy Advance. And I love the clamshell design. I love just throwing it in the pocket. Apparently they nailed it. Homeboy over at Retro Game Core, he looked at it early and he was very satisfied with it. So I'm just bought it. It's
only $50.
Right. Yes, exactly. I'm getting the silver one. I think I ended up like paying like with shipping and taxes and everything. I think it was like 65, 70-ish. So it's on its way. We'll see. I can't wait to get it. It's coming from China, so probably be a couple weeks. What's going to happen is I'll forget that this moment happened, and it'll show up, and it'll be another little treat from me.
Yeah.
All right, we should explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Morning, or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into. So let's start the morning mess with Grand Theft Auto 6 launches in fall 2025. This is from Sal Romano over at Gamatsu.
I thought you said Saruman.
It's from Saruman over at Gamatsu. Saruman, if we're saying your name wrong, feel free to let me know. Grand Theft Auto 6 will launch for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series in fall 2025. Rockstar Games parent company Take-Two Interactive Software announced. Previously, the game had only been confirmed for a general 2025 release. In the press release announcing the company's latest financial results, Take-Two Interactive Chairman and CEO Strauss Zelnick said, "As we enter fiscal 2025 with positive momentum, we expect to deliver net bookings of $5.5 billion to $5.65 billion. That's way down from what they were initially saying because they moved Grand Theft Auto out of this fiscal year. We are highly confident that Rockstar Games will deliver an unparalleled entertainment experience, and our expectations for the commercial impact of the title continue to increase. Looking ahead, we believe that our company is poised to achieve new levels of success, and we expect to deliver sequential growth, blah, blah, blah." But they expect to do that for the next several years after that game comes out because, of course, they're counting on the new GTA Online or whatever to do very well. This is where we're at with Grand Theft Auto. Previously, it sounded like, maybe early next year. And then we saw, and that was because Take-Two previously said, hey, our fiscal 2025 is going to be massive. Then they scaled things back and everyone said that means they are moving it out of the fiscal year, so sometime after March of 2025. And now they're saying second half of 2025. This is Grand Theft Auto, massive game. They were always going to delay this several times.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, like, it could. I'm not 100% sure that this thing is coming out until it's literally the day of and it's available.
I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, oh yeah, we're delaying it again. We need a little bit of extra time, because if anyone is able to do that and get away with it, they could delay it the day before, and people would be like, hell yeah, brother, take the time you need. Yep. Don't worry about it. This thing is going to make $1 trillion. You just take any time you need.
Right, and it's like, what are the fans of Grand Theft Auto going to do? Be like, well, now I won't play it. Like, no,
yeah,
they all know that they're going to show up whenever it's available. They will show up. So there's no risk of like, oh, let's take extra time to make sure we get it right. The risk is, coming out and having something fizzle and have to rebuild and having all the costs involved with that and trying to win people's trust back. So I think everyone involved knows, hey, if this thing hits, we really can have massive growth and all these things that we're looking for and, satisfy the fans of the series. But they don't want to miss in the first place. So that's why we keep hearing this thing slipping in the background. They've never said, they never said officially like early 2025. That was just like in line with their expectations. So they haven't publicly delayed this thing. So they're not even to that point where they've put a date on it that has slipped externally. That could still happen, though. We could get to that point as well. Honestly, I would expect maybe one more of those. That thing launching in early 2026 is just not out of the realm of possibility at all.
No.
This is the game that a lot of analysts are looking to be like. This is the thing that's going to finally move this console cycle forward. We had the report earlier this week, Tam, that half of PlayStation's monthly active users are still on PS4, and they are using that thing all the time to play games they already have: Grand Theft Auto Online, Roblox, Minecraft, Call of Duty, all these games that Fortnite. Grand Theft Auto 6 is the one that, like, when it's not available on your PS4, a lot of those people are going to move forward, right?
Yeah. I wonder if Sony is out there trying to make bundles happen right now, or even Microsoft. Like, I would, because I don't think have they ever done a Grand Theft Auto bundle? I can't think of not a official one anyway. I can't remember. Like, in my years of retail work as well, I don't think they did a Grand Theft Auto like 4 bundle or a 5 bundle, but most retailers will be like, hey, we'll chuck these in together and here you go. But I 100% people will be moving on. I'm very, very keen to see what the adoption rate looks like post GTA release.
Too.
It's going to be, you're right though, it's going to be wild. People are just going to be like, okay, I'm getting one of these things now because this is the game I will spend like $400-$500 on this, but I will be playing this game for the next 7 years, so it will be worth my while.
Do you think like this getting announced for the second half of 2025 or for fall 2025 really, do you think that has a further cooling effect on people's excitement for getting new consoles, for getting games like this year? Because I don't feel that way, and I think when we're talking to each other on the show, and when I see how the audience's reaction in live chat, I get the sense that people are like, "Well, yeah, I'm gonna play Grand Theft Auto when it's here," but in the meantime, there's all these great games to play. But did you get the sense that maybe the wider audience, it's a little bit different?
Yeah, I mean, like we're talking about two very distinct audiences. We have the people who are paying attention to games and are actively interested in playing new games. I think once the time conditions in their lives meet what's necessary to buy a console immediately, that's pretty much what they'll do. The people who will wait are the normies, the general people, the people who make up the bulk of the ridiculous sales of Grand Theft Auto, because gamers buy it, but that's if every gamer bought it, it wouldn't be enough for to really hit the numbers that we know that Grand Theft Auto hits. It's when the normies come along and are like, this is Grand Theft Auto time, baby. That's when it truly skyrockets. I think the normies are the people who are like, oh, this is the thing that I know that I can play and I love, and that's when they come along. But I think that for gamers and people who are have a interest in games, or even have other franchises that they are into beyond Grand Theft Auto, like the Call of Duties, or even the Marios and stuff, they will grab it the moment their life conditions meet it. Some people it's oh, I just save up money. Some people it's oh, I'm just gonna wait for this period to get to this year or this, and then treat myself, etc., etc. I think that's how it will work.
So all that, when you just said Mario, I'm like, okay, Switch 2 probably will be out next year. Do you think there's any world in which this game launches on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Switch 2?
No,
I agree.
No, I don't think so.
Not at launch. I think this is something that could happen years later. Maybe, but definitely not at launch.
Not to say Nintendo would ever turn it down, but I think there's probably people at Nintendo that think it's in their best interest not to have a Grand Theft Auto game on their console near launch, just because they need the time to establish the ongoing reputation that they're a very friendly to young people and casual people platform. And I feel like people would see a Grand Theft Auto and be like, the fuck? This is that.
Yeah.
I don't think this is my own conspiracy theory.
No, I totally. I'm trying to there's definitely a time where
you never want to go to a party and have Wario open the door. You'll be like, what kind of party is this?
Yeah. I wonder if Nintendo even I think they're at a point where Like, well, where else are you going to go for family gaming? Like, you going to go to Xbox? You going to go to PlayStation?
True, yeah.
They don't give a damn about all that stuff.
I mean,
we got Mario, so whatever. Despite the games
mobile
they have,
phones is where you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. But like at a certain point, they don't know how to like really undo that. But like, hey, there's 50 games that have the word hentai on the eShop every day, and that hasn't stopped anybody. But you're right, that is different than like Grand Theft Auto makes headlines. No one actually, the average parent doesn't know first what hentai is, and the second that it's there are games that have that word in the title on the eShop.
Those people have had children. They know what hentai
is. You're right. I shouldn't judge.
They've been on a sexual journey that got them to child rearing. They know what hentai is.
And welcome to our lesson on hentai, everybody. It's thank you for listening. Hey, Grand Theft Auto is going to be huge. I think it's going to move a lot of things. I will be, I think, a little frustrated because I do expect the way it's going to go is the way that Rockstar's done it for the last several major launches. Excuse me. Grand Theft Auto 5, Xbox 360. A year later comes to Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Then a year after that came to PC. So like 2 years between the launch and the PC one. Then Red Dead Redemption 2 comes to consoles. A year later comes to PC. They are almost certainly going to do that again with this. And I want to just play it on PC to begin with. But whatever. Beggars can't be choosers.
I mean, they have, I think at this point, built in console transitions into the development and like release and future plans of Grand Theft Auto games, because like 5 being on multiple generations has been astronomical for them in terms of sales and also like mindshare and cultural kind of awareness around it. People are still playing online as well. I imagine that online will still have a significant part of Grand Theft Auto 6. It makes far too much money not to be. So we're going to be seeing and playing Grand Theft Auto for the next 7 to 10 years, I imagine.
I'm okay. I mean, I like asking this question because it feels like, how can we even know at this point? But really, how long do you think it is between Grand Theft Auto 6 and Grand Theft Auto 7? Because my feeling is we could easily go 15 years, if not 20. Like, because they will want that new version of Grand Theft Auto Online to just run forever.
Yeah. When did 5 come out?
5 came out 11 years ago. Yes.
Yeah, I think we get at least 10 years.
At least 10. That's 10 like years. That is minimum. Yes, 100% agree on that. And then after that, I think it's all bets are off because the landscape could change. Their desire, their plan could change. Of well, no, it's going to be the same GT Online, but here's a new mainline entry that it now comes with to sort of reboost sales. Who knows how they decide to do it at that point? 10 years predicting things that are 10 years out is like so impossible to do. Yeah,
and also like in between now and then, that's not to say there won't be any Rockstar games. Like there's a decent chance we get another Red Dead,
right?
Or like that Bully game that everyone's been dying for. Maybe even a new IP. Like I know that they're very set in their ways and they're very happy making these 2 games forever. But like I wouldn't be surprised if they came along and were like, we came up with a new idea. Here it is. Enjoy.
Yep.
And they also have like I assume some sort of a deal like arrangement with Remedy for Max Payne, so they'll have that part of it kind of going as well.
Yep, man, I'm like looking at the time, like, man, we talked a lot about that way longer than I expected us to.
Bring back LA Noire.
Well, Dan Reichert's LA Noire, which apparently turned 13 years old today.
Yeah.
Yep. So go celebrate Dan in that game. All right, moving on. Microsoft plans to put this year's Call of Duty onto Game Pass, according to some reports. This is from Jordan Midler at VGC. Microsoft will add this year's Call of Duty game to Game Pass at release, it is claimed. That's according to the Wall Street Journal, who has sources with knowledge of the situation. This is yet to officially be announced, but if this goes through, it will be included in the subscription service. This would mark the first time a Call of Duty game has been included in such a service at launch. It would mean for players with access to Xbox platforms, the entry cost for the game would be as little as $11. Microsoft's plans a major shakeup of its video game sales strategy by releasing the upcoming installment of Call of Duty to its subscription service instead of the long-time lucrative approach of selling it a la carte, according to the article. Sam, here's my position on this. If they're really gonna, they have Game Pass. They've done it this far. They've obviously hit that wall that we've talked about, where they've saturated the market on Xbox of people who want it, and the growth on PC and mobile or whatever streaming is just not making up that gap right now. If you put Call of Duty into Game Pass, and at the same time, this Call of Duty is the first one not to launch on Xbox One and PS4, that is I think the best case scenario for convincing people to get onto Xbox and Game Pass on Xbox. And if that doesn't work, then I think they are right to be like, okay, we really do have to change our strategy at this point. But this is the moment it's like, let's let the rubber meet the road. You've made all these purchases to support Game Pass. Actually see the strategy through at least one time and look at the numbers at that point. It feels like this could be a changing point for a lot of things, or it could be sort of the final exclamation point on gamers actually aren't super into this idea in the long term. And so those who are have already bought in, and the growth just won't be there. What do you think?
Yeah, just as a reminder me, it's coming to PS5, right? They have to put it out there because they said in court, like, where we've still got.
They have legally obligated themselves to put it on PlayStation for at least 15 years, if my memory serves me.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, like, yeah, this is one of those inflection points where we will see the true, like, the true value of Game Pass and how much people, gamers, for example, and even like people outside of the dedicated gamers, are willing to come to Game Pass for a Call of Duty game. I think that we're likely to get a good idea of it. I think that also it puts a lot more pressure on ensuring that those people continue to stick around, because there's going to be a decent chunk of people who are there for the single player, right? Like, those people still exist. They play the single player and then they're done. But I don't think they're as big as the people who play multiplayer. The thing is, I think the Call of Duty audience has changed in a significant way. You had people who are like, we play single player and that's it. People who are like, I play single player and multiplayer. And then you had people who play multiplayer in the original Call of Duty games. Now there's a kind of group of people, and I think it's a significant majority or a significant number of the Call of Duty audience who are just like, I only play Warzone. Like, I am my Call of Duty experience is Warzone.
It's not going to be as
only.
effective as before Warzone, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So I do wonder if it's like, hey, we updated Warzone for the new Call of Duty, and that is the only thing that people come to it for. In which case, that thing is free still, right? Like, so it's just like, maybe it won't have a kind of as major an impact as we thought.
Oh yeah,
but it is going to be a moment. It is like a rubber meets the road moment, as you said, where it's like, if anything is really going to move the needle on Game Pass and Microsoft's kind of efforts around it, and also how it's seen to the wider world, it is going to be this game, this Call of Duty.
And we've talked about, like, okay, yeah, 40 million people still on PS4. There's a lot of people still on Xbox One even. And those people, a lot of them are staying on there because they're already happy with the games they're playing. But many of those people do play Call of Duty and still buy it every year. The game just simply wouldn't sell as much as it does if that wasn't the case. So if that game is not available to them, they will have to make a choice. And I think the choice will, part of the choice is, do I get it on PS5 and pay $70 there, or do I go with Xbox One and pay for Game Pass? Because either way, we're going to have to pay for a subscription service to play that game online. And then I get all these other games with Xbox. The other choice is, as you pointed out, I'll just keep playing Warzone. So
yeah, exactly.
So there is clearly not like just some like definitive 100% decision these fans have to make. They have another option, and yet still, this feels like the best case scenario for Microsoft to make those moves happen. At the same time, do you think? Okay, go ahead, please. Because I was going to change the subject a little bit.
This is one of those moments also where it is absolutely critical that Microsoft puts in a lot of effort into making sure that they are attracting those people to their platform. Because Call of Duty is one of those games where it's like, I will go to the platform my friends are on for this game.
Right. You can get that network effect working for you.
Yeah,
if just a couple start dominoes fall. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would be trying to incentivize some sort of like, bring your friends to this platform scheme.
Because even with cross-platform multiplayer, even with Discord, in people's minds, they're like, it's just easier if we're all on the same shit, because then we know we're all going to have the same games. And that is, we see this on Steam all the time. The most powerful marketing tool is word of mouth. This would be a word of mouth opportunity. But they have to, you're right, it's going to take a lot of effort to capture that energy.
Yeah. I wonder if they
do you have faith that they could do that?
I think they could. Yeah, I just it's hard. Like I would say Microsoft is aware of it, and I think they can do it. But the Microsoft of the last few months has been very, very difficult to predict. If you know what I mean,
I do.
Especially after the studio closures, I really don't know what is going through their minds, or if like the left hand is talking to the right hand right now, between the thing where it's like we shut down Tango and who just made Hi-Fi, and then we're in, out there talking about how we need games like Hi-Fi. Like that is just a weird moment where I'm like, oh, they're just chasing their tails right now. They might not know what's going on, and they're so like in the weeds and up their own asses that they can't tell what's going on around them. So like I think I would like to think that they are with it and have the wherewithal to take advantage of that. I am not 100% sure after the last few months, honestly. The bare bones basic thing they could do is be like, hey, if you invite a friend to Game Pass, they get a discount on, I don't know, this season pass for Call of Duty, which is like, okay, cool. This is the thing that will allow me to play and keep new content coming for months and months and months. And I'll go here because my friends are here, and also I'll get a referral discount and can give that to another one of my friends.
Yeah. So I was gonna like just change it a little bit, still talk about this subject, but like, okay, so then Game Pass. Do you think that this is now also a chance for them to, I think, obviously raise the price? That seems like something that very likely could happen before Call of Duty comes out. Do you think there's also a chance here to sort of maybe reconfigure how Game Pass is presented? Because Game Pass Ultimate is $15 a month. I think it was maybe moved up to like $17 a month. I can't remember. But that's the one that has like all the games, games day one, and online multiplayer. And then like down at $11, it is no online multiplayer, but games day one and all the games. Do you think they're like move things around so it's like, okay, actually we want people, maybe the easiest way to do a price increase is to get those people who are on the $10 or $11 tier to move up to the $17 tier, and maybe we start rethinking like stuff like day one games on there and only get that through Ultimate. Do you think that's like, because you maybe get away with that with Call of Duty? Like this is the one opportunity where they could do something extreme. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think they're more likely to introduce some sort of like unique Call of Duty pass, or like Call of Duty version of Game Pass, where it's like, hey, play Game Pass, get this version of Game Pass, and you get, I don't know, all the Call of Duty games, or something like that. Or it's like the first person shooter pass, where it's like, hey, you pay this amount of money and you get all these multiplayer first person shooters, or something like that. I don't know if that I feel like you can adjust the price on, and you can make it a little more expensive, but also cheaper than it might initially, than the other top tier one might look, if you know what I mean, like a middle ground pass. I don't know how they would do that. Like, I think it would be pretty wild if they were like, hey, pay this for a Call of Duty pass, when you only really want to play one Call of Duty game, right? Like, you want the latest one, and that's it. But I don't know. I do think there is an opportunity for them to like reshuffle it. I don't know if making it more expensive is the right move. I feel like people are savvy enough to like notice that now, where it's like, hey, you're just adjusting language and trying to trick me into paying more for a thing that you didn't need to change. I think they are. I think the smarter thing would be to really look at it and create some sort of new tier that is more enticing to people, as opposed to trying to take the two tiers and shuffle them about so it's more expensive. This isn't a money-making moment. Like, do the smart thing here and hope that pays dividends, because it brings in a lot of people.
Yep. All right. Plenty more to talk about, but what we're going to do now is we're going to take a break. When we get back, there is a rumored Star Wars game. There's a rumored Valve game. Lots happening in video gaming. We'll get to all of that right after this. All right, we are getting right back into it here on Game Mess Mornings. Let's start off once again with Creative Assembly reportedly working on a Total War Star Wars game. This comes from Kyle Knight at DualShockers. A total of 3 new Total War games are in development at Creative Assembly, with one of them being an officially licensed Star Wars game. That's according to DualShockers. The last Total War game to be released was last year's Total War Pharaoh, which was developed by Creative Assembly Sophia and published by Sega for Windows. A Mac OS version has been released, but published by Feral Interactive. well, they're working on Pharaoh. They're going to do more stuff for that. There's stuff happening with Warhammer as well, and they're going to do more of that. The rumor here is, and now they're going to go over and do something with Star Wars. I'll say this is something that I've heard rumored for a long time, but it was always like it's so early that it's it's so far off that it might not be worth talking about. So and I know that rumor's been out there elsewhere. I've seen people kind of mention it in a few things here and there. I think it's a good idea. Star Wars has had some success in strategy games before. Feels like Disney and LucasArts, or I guess Lucasfilm, LucasArts instead. Lucasfilm is at a point where they're like, we want to try a whole bunch of different things with Star Wars. And to me, that sounds like, okay, yeah, why not go back to the strategy genre? And this is like one reliable studio that can do that. And at the same time, a publisher like Sega would be happy to work with an established property like Star Wars to grow the Total War brand. So makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, especially given what they managed to do with Warhammer.
Right,
I mean, that seems like a brand that feels completely like unapproachable in every single way, but they did some really cool, interesting things with Warhammer and brought in people who weren't huge fans of Warhammer or weren't like Warhammer nuts and were, RTS fans or like fans of Creative Assembly, and the game they made was really, really cool. I am interested in seeing how they approach Star Wars. I think they might simplify it a bit, because I think Warhammer was like they released a game and then they released a sequel which kind of expanded on that game, and they kept feeding into that same universe until it was one giant Warhammer experience. That could be an interesting approach for it, but I think they probably want something a little simpler and a lot more like traditional Total War-ish. Lot of opportunity there. I think that kind of appeals to the hardcore Warhammer, not Warhammer, the Total War fans. The conditions that you need to meet to kind of get on board with that are numerous, I think, and sweaty as fuck. You need to be into Star Wars. You need to also be into RTS games,
which means you're into PC gaming.
PC gaming, likely. I mean, like the Total War games, RTS strategy games have been on console, but usually,
but likely on PC.
Total War is very much a PC kind of franchise. Yeah, and then you have to be, engaging on all those levels, and it feels very, very niche. So I do wonder if this could be their first attempt, or not first attempt, but another attempt at bringing a RTS game of this ilk to consoles. The only way you're really maximizing Star Wars is if you put it everywhere.
Yeah, and that means and that speaks to your point of simplifying it even more and making sure that it's very approachable. What I imagine here is when I looked at Total War is a relatively pretty old franchise. I can't remember if it's as old as like something like Attack of the Clones, but I definitely played it not too long after that when it first launched. And I always remember, like, hey, the way these battles look how they shot Attack of the Clones, where it's just like these droids and clones running at each other, and it's kind of like slow paced when they pan out, and it's like, yeah, that's what Total War looks like. So I think it's a good fit. But yeah, I think it'll take them, I think, some effort to make sure they are reaching a wide enough audience to make this project make sense. All that aside, hey, if it happens, it happens, and then we get it. And then if it doesn't do great, whatever, maybe we won't get another one, but at least we got one. That's also been kind of the story of real-time strategy games and Star Wars, where Empire at War would come and Star Wars Rebellion. There was another one. These games kind of come and that people are like, oh, this is a lot of fun, or I'm going to spend a lot of time with this. And then you kind of don't get another one necessarily, or at least not a long series of them. So if it's a one-off thing, I'm just like glad that Disney and these various developers and publishers are able to get these projects here and there. That's what I want from Star Wars. It's what I always say. My favorite time as a Star Wars fan in gaming was, hey, it's like GameCube era, and we're getting like 4 different Star Wars games across all these different things every couple of months. So kind of replicating that a little bit is good news to me. And and if this happens, it's probably still a couple years away, but I hope they announce it soon and we can kind of just get a good look at it and get excited about it.
I just had a quick look. They've only ever released one title, Total War title, on consoles, and it's Spartan Total War, which is not even an RTS. It's that like a hack and slash spin-off.
Oh, really?
Beyond that, wow. I can't see a single Total War game on this list.
That's still a question. I think your point still stands. Like,
because Civ Rev, for example, was on console, and it is like
they put Civ 6 on console now.
Yeah, they put Civ 6 on console, so I think they can do it. This might be their Civ moment where they move to consoles. Maybe. And Star Wars is the perfect thing to make that happen, especially if they can like make the marketing look like it's just epic battles and doesn't have that sweaty niche gamer top-down view where it's like loads of UI stuff and you're clicking around quickly. If it's still like zoomed in and you're seeing loads of droids being like shot and like a couple of Jedis in the middle of their AT-ST just walking around, I'm sure people will be like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Yep. Yeah, and I think if that means the battles need to like kind of be slowed down, or there's a button you need to hold to like, okay, we're gonna basically pause the real-time action so I can really plan my moves, so be it. And then at the same time, if they aren't planning the console version, again, that's kind of their problem. I'll be happy to play this game on PC, and I hope it really does come to fruition.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Hyenas.
Rest in peace, Hyenas. God, that's right, man. Poor studio. All right, next story here. Valve's next game, a hero shooter called Deadlock, has seemingly leaked. This is another one from Jordan Midler at VGC. Images showing what is reportedly Valve's next game are circulating on social media. According to Tyler McVicker, who has a good track record of reporting details of Valve projects ahead of their announcement, the game is called Deadlock, and hundreds of people are currently playtesting it. Images allegedly from a private playtest of the game appear to show 6v6 gameplay, with abilities not unlike those in Overwatch or similar competitive hero shooters. According to McVicker, the game has been in development since 2018, features tower defense mechanics, and has a fantasy setting mixed with steampunk. So he wrote magicians, weird creatures and robots, fast travel using floating rails, similar to BioShock. He added basically a fast-paced, interesting ADHD gameplay, a combination of Dota 2, Team Fortress 2, Overwatch, Valorant, Smite, Orcs Must Die, and more. Hero design pretty much inspired by the Dota universe. Tam, this doesn't move me too much, I gotta say. Reading all that doesn't move me.
That was way too many games.
It's a mishmash. Yes. Yeah. But like even just, okay, let's just boil down to a 6v6 hero shooter with, special attacks that look similar to Overwatch. Yeah, man, I played Overwatch, and there's Valorant.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you never count Valve out. They always have some sort of secret sauce in their games that potentially could make them absolutely pop off. I can't think of a Valve game that they ever put out that was like an outright abject failure in the kind of like
the card game, right? That's the
oh yeah,
you didn't even remember it. That's how much of a failure that was. Artifact.
Damn.
Other than Artifact, and that was recent, but they've learned lessons since Artifact, right? That's
absolutely not. No chance.
No one learns there.
No. I imagine they look at Artifact and are just like, well, that was. We basically weren't paying attention and slipped on a banana peel. This will never happen again.
What was it with the Artifact Twitch category? Were people streaming adult content on there? Is that what that was?
I think so.
Yeah. Vague memories of that. Yeah.
Oh man, I've completely forgot about Artifact.
Memory hold it. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I never touched it. Yeah. I mostly know because whenever it comes up, Mike tells the story of how he went to Valve to see it before they announced it. And when he walked in the room, he was late, and Gabe Newell was just talking to everybody that got invited, and he had to like interrupt Gabe Newell, and he felt very awkward. I'm like, that's what you get. That's what you get.
Gabe Newell runs with his knife out. That Counter-Strike thing is real. It's based
that's
on
how he just goes from room to room. Yep.
Yeah, if he's late for a meeting, you'll see the knife come out, and he will rapidly increase, and he jumps and spins in the air as well. But yeah, I mean, like I don't know. It feels like I'm not moved by it, but I'm also very, very keenly aware that Valve is very good at what it does for the most part, Artifact notwithstanding. So I am still intrigued by it. I feel like right now the hero-based shooter is just a massive trap.
Agreed.
I don't know. This is going to sound really stupid. I don't know why you create a hero-based shooter, a new one in this day and age, and don't call it Team Fortress 3.
Yeah,
like, that is crazy to me. Like, why would you make a TF3? Like, I know it's not hero-based, but like,
but
the class-based shooter could evolve, and you could have Team Fortress come back.
They're probably like, oh, this will freeze us up to do different stuff. I'm like, calling it Team Fortress 3 doesn't actually hold you back. You can kind of do whatever you want with that.
Yeah. And like this feels like such a mishmash. I think that the stuff that Valve does best is when it's got a clear, unique direction to it. And the things that I've seen or heard about it right now, it's like steampunk, fantasy, and it's a hero. It's like Valorant, but it's Counter-Strike. It's just like there's too much, man. It's a bad pitch.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. I mean, like it's not an official pitch, so obviously gonna wait for that. But it's like there's nothing in there that immediately makes me think, oh, this is the hook. This is cool.
And there's stuff that makes me, I sleep. Like tower defense. Come on, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that that's like such an easy like mechanic in a game to be like, oh, this gives players something to do and manage other than just kill people. So you don't just keep running out there and get shot and die because you aren't good. This gives you a chance to get familiar with the game. Like if I'm a designer, I get why you get the appeal of something like a tower defense thing back in your competitive shooter. But just hearing that that's a core part, I'm like, I'm not into that.
Is Ice Frog still at Valve?
I don't remember. Last time I heard it was
working at Dota.
I think we talked about him on this show about a year ago, and he was at. I thought he was he was there, but I don't know. I have not.
Maybe
this is Ice Frog's project. Says Colonel Sanders 21.
That changes things a little bit, which is like, okay, Ice Frog knows a thing or two about designing satisfying games, but still, the lack of
and that's
clarity.
what it sounds like. This sounds like a designer's game. This sounds like a designer's game right now.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I just need to get to the point where I'm like, I do see it for myself in action. I'll go look at the screenshots and all that stuff, but I want to see how Valve presents it. So it's like, and here's what makes it a Valve game. If they compare those two things together, they'll probably have something.
Yeah, I feel like no normie out there is going, oh my god, Ice Frog is making this. Only the sweatiest of gamers like us are like, oh shit, this is an Ice Frog joint. To everyone else, if it doesn't like have that kind of clear pitch to it and isn't like distinct from the game, because you are trying to lure people who have basically committed what is effectively their life to a game. Like you need to be able to, because I believe that audience is finite, right? Like you don't have a constant. I mean, there's new people coming in, but like the people who play these kind of games are like, I'm committing to this thing.
Yes, and that network effect, they get sucked into the black hole of the games that are already out there.
Like when I was coming up, when I was playing PC game multiplayer at my like most intense, I only played Counter-Strike. There was nothing else I played. Not even TF2. And it's still like that, where it's like I'm a Call of Duty player, I am a Counter-Strike player, I'm a Valorant player, or even like if it is what it sounds like and what they present it at, it's now competing with like MOBAs as well. So it's competing with like League of Legends and Dota and all these other games. So it needs a clearer and more refined kind of pitch to entice those people to try it, and then it needs to be good enough to keep people there, and then it also needs to have that online streamer word of mouth kind of like factor to it. There's so many things that you have to kind of get right these days to make a game like this pop off. If anyone could do it, it's Valve, but still, this kind of leaked pitch or whatever it is, obviously not official. At the moment, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to wait for them to tell me what this is, because I hope that they've got something clearer going on than it's every game that you played.
Yep. Exactly. All right. Just announced a few minutes ago, Redfall is actually going to get its offline mode after all. I'm going to read this tweet from the Play Redfall account on Twitter. Thank you for all your supportive messages. We are working to release our final update, Game Update 4, that brings revamped neighborhood and nest systems, single-player pausing, offline mode, and more. We'll provide additional details soon. Thank you all. Okay. Great that this is coming out. Just bums me out all over again. Just that it's like, okay, there was enough of a response that we're going to put this out. So now these people have to do this death march to get their final update out before they get laid off or maybe moved around and have their lives changed at the very least. This sucks. I hate this. I hate that those studios closed down. I hate the way it was handled. Everything about it bums me out, including this, even though this is, objectively a better thing, I suppose, than the way things were ending before.
Yeah. I mean, like, I will never, ever, ever, ever forgive them for doing this to Arcane.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever. Like, that Arcane is a special studio. And I know there's other, Arcane Leon still exists, but like, I feel like you really screwed up when you are doing this to any facet of Arcane as a team. That is such a talent that you let them figure something else out, man, because the next thing they figure out is going to be like unlike anything else anyone else is doing, and there's so much value in that. I'm glad that the Redfall crew is being able to, put this one thing out again. And I honestly, I am committing to going back and checking out Redfall again. I really wanted that game to succeed more than anyone. Like, I adore Arcane so much. Yep. Yeah, and it wasn't what they wanted it to be, and also it's not what anyone wanted from them. And between them being shut down and also the news that, that there was that story about how they were pitching a new immersive sim, and it could have been Dishonored 3, I am just like,
yep.
If I ever see anyone involved in that decision, it's on site.
Yep.
I am gonna hurt you.
Yep. And for me, it's like when all this was announced, it should have been at the time been like, and of course we're going to support the studio to get this last update out because they care about this game, even though no one else does. We still care. That would have been the right way to do this. I wanted them to put out this update. I did. So I'm glad it's happening. I just can't help but also still be very frustrated and bummed out by the way. The whole upset. Yeah. I am upset by this.
The whole, it's been a bad year for Xbox, in so many different ways. And I hope that, we're not far away from Summer Game Fest. I hope that they come in there with some humility and are ready to explain and don't become defensive about it.
Yeah.
Because right now, you are not you're not in the best light, and you have done something that truly devastated gamers and didn't make sense to them. That's the thing I keep coming back to more than anything. It's we don't know what is expected of us or expected of games from you now.
Right.
Because it doesn't make sense. The things that you say and the things that you do are in direct conflict. So we have no idea what you want. We have no idea what is a success to you. We have no idea what you deem as a creative endeavor. We have no idea what you deem as a money-making effort. It's all over the place. So I'm excited. I'm not saying I'm writing them off completely. I'm sure there is some sort of vision there. Right now, I'm very bummed out by Xbox, and I say that as someone who owns 3 Xboxes literally right now.
I really like using my Xbox.
Yeah, I have paid for multiple Xboxes. I have purchased Xboxes for other people.
Same.
I've got PlayStations as well. Obviously, I'm a ambidextrous platform agnostic gamer, and I want Xbox to succeed as much as I want PC and Nintendo and PlayStation to succeed. And I really hope they're ready to talk about what's going on and present a future for that company that is better than the last year. And I hope that they're ready to have some humility around these closures, especially Arcane, because people are big mad about that, and rightly so.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm very curious to see how that all plays out over the next 3 weeks. God, we are running out of time. All right. A couple big news stories we got to get to before we wrap up. There's a report that a Lego Horizon video game is in the works. This is another one that I was hearing, but that's just so crazy. I'm like, no, someone else could say that. Someone else did. This comes from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. Lego games are often known for giving a blocky, cute twist on an existing IP, like Star Wars and Batman. So according to Insider Gamer, how about Guerrilla's post-apocalyptic world Horizon, and Horizon Forbidden West, that Horizon, everybody.
Man, they are. Oh.
Okay.
This is Horizon is just being driven into the ground. Zangief is pile driving.
You don't want the MMO and the TV show and another game and probably another game and then this game.
With the utmost respect to everyone at PlayStation, everyone at the teams that work, I would be happy if we didn't see Horizon again for 10 years.
Yeah.
Please chill. Please relax. Horizon, I know a lot of people love it, but
well, I'm not saying it's not good. It's not my thing. That's all.
Yeah, I'm sure people will love it, but oh my god, do you?
But the people who say Horizon's good, you're asking for Horizon's Lego game for real?
Yeah, you want a Horizon?
We're not having
Lego?
a conversation about whether Horizon's is good or not anymore. That's over there. What is this game? That's what I'm asking.
That is exactly it. But like, I am the giving the benefit of the doubt part of my brain is like,
Sure.
oh, they want to appeal to a different audience. They want to appeal to
100% get them while they're young.
That's fine. But like, also, it is the other cynical part of me is just screaming. They want to milk the shit out of this, and also like, I am not as confident as they seem to be in the kind of like potential that Horizon has to become universally appealing in the way that it's going into like, every single genre. Like, if this is real, I'm just going to be like, more power to you. I will definitely check it out, and I'm not going to write it off.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it can't exist. It just confuses me.
I'm just confused by this. Yeah. And also I'm like, I feel like you're driving that IP into the ground and like making it something that people stop caring about much quicker than you think that you're doing. Then you think that you'll get out of putting it everywhere and benefiting from it. This isn't I don't believe this is one of those IPs that is like, there's always an eternal thirst for more of this. Right. I think this is one where it's like, oh, New Horizons coming out every 5 years or 3 years or whatever it may be.
And it's like, okay, and if this comes out, is this going to be the first like Lego game that isn't on the Switch in some way for that audience? Maybe. So it's going to be just on PlayStation and PC? And has that ever happened before where one of these Lego games came out and wasn't everywhere? Because that's a good point, actually. Also weird.
It will be on PC. Sure. I know why this is happening. They had that Lego tall neck, didn't they?
They did have that Lego tall neck. Yes, they did.
This started ages ago. Oh my god.
Yep.
I forgot about that. They already have like their tendrils in the Lego business with that stuff. So, okay. I mean, that Lego tall neck was pretty cool, but
did Jan call it Lego longback? You can't. Okay. All right. Hey, whatever. I'm not gonna deny anyone their fun, and this is your fun.
Lego Taylor Swift. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, it's still weird to me. Confused. I'll be very interested to see how they present it. I suppose part of me is like, I sometimes like those Lego games. There's no world in which I'm like, well, let's sit down with the kids to play Lego Horizons. And it feels like opportunity cost. We're missing out on something that maybe I would have, but I don't know.
The strategy for successful Lego games has been taking IPs that have legendary levels of like engagement and like fandom and cultural awareness. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, DC, that kind of stuff. And Legoifying them to presenting them as an entry point into those franchises for younger audiences.
Mm-hmm.
I regret to inform PlayStation that Horizon is nowhere on the same level as a Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, DC, even Rock Band, which they had. Like, I feel like this is incredibly misjudged. Again, I'm not writing it off. No. I would love to. I hope it's good.
And they can prove us wrong too, right?
I'm gonna try it. Please prove me wrong.
The show comes out and is really good, and then that changes the calculus on everything, and then they hit while the iron's hot, and they prove us wrong. It could happen.
Yeah, I will. I hope the TV show or whatever, and the Fortnite clone, and the clothing line, and the cereal does great for you. But I am very happy to not hear from Aloy again for a while, you know. I reviewed that VR game and I was like,
I forgot about the VR game.
Yeah. I mean, how could you forget? It's the one game on PlayStation VR 2.
Yep, that's right.
I reviewed it and I was like, yeah, this is fine.
That's the game. Yep, that's the game for this thing.
All right, later. It's not even weird. It's not even like a weird choice. You know, if it was like we made Lego Death Stranding, I'd be like, hell yeah, brother, let's do this.
You're right. It's not weird in the way that weird can be interesting, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not weird, interesting. It feels cynical.
Right. This feels like,
and I'm just like,
oh, it's obvious how they're going to do it, right? I get how this works as a Lego game, sure.
Yeah. This is an attempt to push an IP into mainstream.
They're giving it the push. Yeah, they're trying to put it over, brother. Yeah.
Good luck to them.
Good luck. Right, exactly. It seems like a challenging challenge. All right, last couple stories here. Next iteration in one of 2K's biggest and most beloved franchise to be announced at Summer Game Fest. Please go.
They should have done a kart racing game before they did this.
For real. There's like so many other ones that were like, Okay, yeah, that seems like lower stakes somehow. I don't know.
Get the MotorStorm team back. Make them make a racing game in the Horizon universe. That would have been way better than this.
Lexi says, what if it was developed by Team Asobi? That would be, please don't, because that team needs to go make Astro.
You know
leave
what
them alone.
I say to that? Team No Sobi.
Yeah, leave them alone. All right. This is for Saruman Okamatsu, next to 2K biggest beloved franchise getting announced.
Saruman is back.
Saruman is back, everybody. It will be announced at the Summer Game Fest 2024 showcase. No further information. It could be Mafia, could be BioShock, could be Civ 7. What do you think?
What was the wording on it? Was it just new IP, or was it like a specific genre?
One of 2K's biggest and most beloved franchises, and it's the next iteration. Excuse me.
I think everyone forgot that they're making a BioShock.
Yeah. And I did until I read it in this story. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it could be BioShock.
I mean, it could be BioShock. It could be Borderlands. Borderlands makes a lot of sense,
right?
Given that they have a movie coming out. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Borderlands trailer where, Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, Jack Black is in it, etc., etc. We're making the Borderlands game with the cast of Borderlands, etc., etc. I would prefer it if it was the BioShock game. I don't know if there's any life left in Mafia. The team that made Mafia just released a video game. Can you tell me what it is?
They did?
Yes.
What,
I will give you $10 if you tell me what game the team
is it on like mobile
Mafia.
or something like
Nope, it is released on consoles and I believe on PC.
I swear I didn't look at chat if someone put it in there. Is it tennis? Is it the tennis game?
It is. I owe you $10.
Oh my God, I can't believe I remember 2K, yeah, tennis, whatever.
Yeah, Topspin. Topspin was the last game.
Oh my God, that's right. I opened that game up and I was like, Hangar 13, that's the Mafia people. And then I never thought about that again until this very moment.
At Summer Game Fest, I will buy you $1 million.
That sounds so, we're going to get a burrito so hard. I can't wait. Okay. Yes, they did just release a game. That's why I think this is Civ 7, because biggest and most beloved. I know some people are like, well, I don't care about Civ. Civ is massive, has always sold a ton, always has some of the most concurrent players on Steam, and is beloved in a way that even like Mafia, and at this point, even BioShock isn't. I guess if it's not Civ, it's BioShock. So
Civilization Horizon, let's go.
At this point, who would put it past them?
That makes more sense than the Lego one.
Last couple things here. Take-Two CEOs claims they didn't close private division studios Roll7 and Intercept Games. He has said stuff like that before.
That is so funny.
It's proved to be a liar about these sorts of things.
My man is just straight up lying.
Right. Like, we laid off everybody, but the studio still exists. What does that mean?
This is like, I hate to invoke this, but this is like Trump levels of like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
What were you talking about?
No, for real. It's wild.
It's crazy.
I always say, like, when the reports come out and then someone at the company denies it, like, look for the space where both things are true. The space where both things are true here is they laid everyone off, but they still have a piece of paper somewhere that says this is an entity that exists or whatever, and that's the most you can get away with here.
There's maybe a building that still exists that has a logo on it.
Right, yes. Like, the studio still exists for tax purposes, as Slacker Chan says. Correct. There will be a CPA filing that company's, that subsidiary's taxes later this year. Sure.
And it says everything about people in this position. They don't see studios as the people. They see studios as the building
magical
and
little factories. Yes.
The little factory and on legal papers.
That's where the Keebler elves make the video games. Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. That does it for the news. We got a poll question coming up here in a second. While I'm getting that set up, Tam, what do you got going on? Where can people find you?
You'll find me everywhere. Unfortunately, no spot on this week. Me and Lucy were traveling. She is traveling an ungodly amount.
Yes, so much.
Yeah, but she's working on something cool. I was traveling with her for a little while as well. I didn't have to. Mine's on pause until next week now. But we didn't do a spot on because of that, because it was just like it was too hard to cram it in, and we didn't want to half-ass it. So beyond that, you can check me out and check us out. We got
and
UPF
you can catch up on
up.
all the previous spot-ons as well. Go watch those again.
Yeah, exactly. A train video. Jan put up on Instagram stories. He was like, "I just finished a video that I was working a really long time on, and I sat there for a full minute." I was like, I'm gonna risk pissing him off, and I just replied, "Train video?" ?
That was for close friends. Oh, that's very good.
But at this point, I'm really into the idea the train video never is going to appear.
No, I mean, but we also never give up on it. We still bring it up all the time, 100%.
You know what's going to happen? 6 months from now, Lego train video. And people are going to be like, who asked for this?
Lego train video. Jesus, Tam. Here's the thing. Like, I realized over this last couple of years, me and Jan have very similar brains. And I know that, like, this is the kind of thing where it's like a guilt thing over here that every time he looks at it, it's very painful. And that also makes it hard to go do anything with it. So, yes, that's just what it is. Go watch the WWE video, everybody. It's a good time. That video,
it rules. So, I mean, to be fair, the priorities were 100% straight there. You focused on the right video, and also Jan is doing a crazy amount of stuff. We're gonna have UPF later, where I will make Jan's life considerably harder by not using my normal setup and using a experimental jerry-rigged setup to just test some
beta
ideas.
Setup. Yeah. Sorry, for you it's alpha setup, of course. Yes.
Yeah, alpha setup. Yeah. So we'll be doing that in a bit. I haven't tried to see if Shadows. Is it Shadows? Ghost of Tsushima? Legends mode works. So we'll figure that out together later.
I'm gonna go try that out here in a second. See if I can get logged in.
Yeah. So that's happening, and then if you haven't already, please and you can. Pick up a ticket to the live show on the 9th at the Bellwether Theatre in LA. If you are in the area, we'd love to see you there. If not, we'll see you online. That's pretty much it.
That's right. Tickets are going, so everyone should get on there and pick them up right now. But go pick them up this weekend just to be safe. All right, let's see here. Poll question from yesterday. Are you excited about Assassin's Creed Shadows? Yes or no? 42% said yes, 58% said no. For me, I feel like an Assassin's Creed game from this audience, that's a pretty good response. Tam,
I am so excited for it.
Me too. It is hitting the notes for me. Them talking about how you can do the samurai action stuff, but there's a light meter when you're when you're Naue, there's a light meter. You can take out the lights and all that stuff. And it's like, oh boy, that sounds good. I'm so excited. So
yeah, I'm very, very excited. It's got it's hinting at stealthy stuff, and I that's where I get most excited about Assassin's Creed, when it's doing stealthy, because Lord knows, where's that Splinter Cell game, you Eves, you little
it's old just a man. Remake of the first one too. Just make it. Although, man, if they remake that game and it actually does have ray trace lighting and it's fully systematic. Ooh.
I will. They keep doing Sam Fisher dirty, and in an age where Solid Snake has also been done dirty, like what's happening?
Remember that bullshit?
And they just laid off Arcane people, so we probably won't get.
Yep, we're in a low point for. I think we have to now turn our eye to indie games for a lot of the stealth stuff going forward.
Our stealth icons are being mistreated.
Yep, it got immersive simmed. What happened to immersive sims has now happened to stealth games. Remember that bullshit when it was like. All that stuff was Habu Kojima, and then Ubisoft did a mobile game and had Sam Fisher show up in there, and Sam Fisher's like, there was another guy. Oh, he's gone now. I guess I'm the last one. No, you're not. You died before he did. What are you talking about?
My man did not show up ever again. He was like, I'm still here.
You don't get to do that, Ubisoft.
Fucking what are you talking about?
Get out of here with that. Fuck out of here. Poll question: will you get Game Pass for Call of Duty? Yes, I already have it. No, I won't get it, or I don't care about COD. Those are your options. Poll will go up on youtube.com/@giantbomb. Click the community tab there. You can vote on the poll. We'll talk about the results on Monday here on Giant Bomb. Speaking of Giant Bomb, if you want to see our other content, while you're there clicking the community tab, click the live tab. That's where most of our stuff lives. We do most of our stuff as live shows, so you can watch everything there. A lot of good stuff this week. Earlier this week, we did a demo derby that was a lot of fun. Looked at an old Ultra Game Players CD demo disc. There was some weird stuff on there. It was a good time. And then plenty of other stuff to check out. Next week we'll get back into the normal swing of things. And UPF later today. Don't miss it. We're gonna try to play online multiplayer Ghost of Tsushima Legends. See how that goes. Tam, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I love being here all the time.
Me too. Love having you.
It is a great time, and I hopefully will be doing it again next week.
Looking forward to it. Thank you all for listening and watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.